Hello, everyone. It is January 31st, 2019. Psalm 94:16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It's time I give the reason why the number 33 comes up again and again and again on my channel. I sought out a very personal one-on-one relationship with Yahweh, our Father in heaven, and I went humbly before him with so many questions. And I did. I had so many questions. And I was reeling for a while, and he answered me. And this was the Bible verse he gave me. Jeremiah 33:3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and I will show thee great things and difficult, which thou knowest not. This number holds extreme importance to the enemy of God. If you've been watching my channel, you know how many times 33 comes up with one organization. This is the enemy of God. Now, I pulled this up again, and I have a little bit of time here because my videos tend to go so much longer than what I want them to. This was no exception. I thought I could do a quick one. I really did, and it went off completely in a different direction than I thought it would based on a couple of photos I pulled up. So I want to put this up and just say something real quick. I don't think most people have any understanding what is coming. And I began this journey a year ago, and I'm one of those people that have dreams and visions. And it says in the Bible in Acts chapter 2, verse 17, that God will pour his heart out on all peoples in the last day, and that there will be people that prophesy and those that dream dreams and have visions. So there's a lot of people that are experiencing this right now. A lot of us share the same things, and but each of us gets something a little bit different based on our talents and what we're able to process, and God never gives any of us more than what we can handle. I've had some really quite dark and dreadful things happen in my life, so I can handle quite a bit, and he's given me close to my limit. There are things coming on mankind that I don't think. I stare at this picture every day and I wonder, do I have on enough armor? I don't honestly know. And if you have to ask that question, that should tell you that you got to keep trying and trying and trying. But nonetheless, it is one of these things that's coming that if you don't make the attempt, you're not going to survive this. There are things that the religion is not touching on, and it's not touching on because it's been designed not to. Reading the Bible with any level of discernment, I had to actually go right past religion, which I went right to my Father in heaven, and I prayed for this. And he has talked to me a few times. He doesn't talk to me with so many words, but he has. One of the things that after he began showing me things is he gave me 4 specific words. He said, keep your message simple. So every video I put out, I have to sweat this, whether or not I'm giving the right kind of information. I've been shown things that happened long ago and things that are coming. And I will tell you, religion is so far off track on so many things. So I don't think most people are going to be able to reconcile what is coming with the way they've been taught. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I am trying to show people a little bit at a time. And there's going to be times when I'm going to throw out a few Bible verses with rhetorical questions, because I'm going to show you things that are in the Bible that at least I know from my church's standpoint that I was raised in never showed this kind of stuff. So as I do this, I'm going to throw it out as rhetorical, because I'm going to have you do the work yourself. You go to our Father and you ask the questions if you care. These things are the answer. If you get answered, you're going to get answered with something you're not going to expect. I can almost guarantee that. So With that in mind, let's just go ahead and we'll move on to this video. Jeremiah 33:3, call unto me, and I will answer thee, and I will show thee great things and difficult, which thou knowest not. So I'm going to show these brief Bible verses before we get on with this video. Acts chapter 17, verse 24, God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. I see a language that most people do not, and so I'm giving those Bible verses as the sternest of warnings. There's a reason why I will not step into churches. The symbols contained within them say so much. So what exactly is the definition of communion? Communion, the sharing or exchanging of intimate thoughts and feelings, especially when the exchange is on a mental or spiritual level. We also have this definition, the service of Christian worship at which bread and wine are consecrated and shared. Now you can see some of the words that are used here, Eucharist, Mass, Okay, that's my opinion on that. But we'll move on. Those are associated with the universal church, if you know what that word is. That's literally Catholic. So can we not have communion without being in a church with a lot of parishioners or a pastor or priest present? Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there am I with them. Yeshua Jesus Christ apparently thinks so. It sounds like this could be family dinner at home with fellow Christians. Now, a hard-hitting verse from the Bible. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being a priest to me. And since you have forgotten the law of your God, I will also forget your children. Luke chapter 21, verse 25, and there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Does your pastor or priest know that the sun and moon are not rising or setting properly? I've shown this in my videos. Now, this was Inuit elders. They, in 2015, went to NASA and informed NASA, which, if you've been watching my videos, they know this, that the sun and the moon are not in their proper positions. They noted the sun specifically because it was rising way too high up in the sky in the northern latitudes, and the seal skins were burning. But, they're Inuit people. They live close to nature. They don't have their head jammed into a cell phone all day long like the rest of us in the southern latitudes. And they noticed these things. So they saw that something was wrong. This has been going on, I think, from the earliest I've heard is 2005. People started noting the sun was coming in incorrectly into windows, but this was their formal notification to NASA. Now, this is dealing with the moon. This is one of the guys I listen to all the time. His name is Mr. MBB333. I don't exactly know what this individual is completely about. I like his weather. I know what he looks at. I have checked out some of the symbols in the background of what he associates with, and they're troubling. Now, I don't know whether he understands how he's being deceived or if he's a gatekeeper. I don't know. No, but nonetheless, I'll use that term once. People are noticing something different. Now, this is a moon phase chart. It's an official one, and you can see from top to bottom, you can see we have symmetry going on from a north to south. This is the way we are used to seeing our moon. Now, this has everything to do with something called the elliptic plane, and before this gets too complicated for people, I'm going to show something that I think will make this fairly understandable. This guy is having cognitive dissonance, which is sort of funny to watch because he was doing a lot of pausing in his video where he was hemming and hawing. People are sending photos in. They're asking questions. What's going on with our moon? Why is our moon lit like this? Well, he's fed the science that all of us are fed. And so he buys it. And this is all Freemason science. And if you've watched any of my videos, I go into the fact that the Freemasons have been in control of science from the very beginning. Copernicus, Isaac Newton, oh gosh, there's one other one. They're all Freemasons. So this has been for the last 5 centuries now. These are the people that have been giving us the heliospheric model, everything we see. So there are some things that are have-musts that only can work with this model. So when things start to break down and you start seeing it with your own two eyes, you can't figure it out. So this is the bifurcation of the moon on the elliptic plane. Now, this is what the moon phase was supposed to be on January 28th on this day. This was on January 28th of this year, 2019. This is what people were seeing. Now, I've seen the same thing too. I actually saw this March of last year, but it was, well, this is interesting. I just realized it was in March of last year, and it was exactly the opposite. It was over here. So that's kind of wild for a 2-month swing to go completely opposite direction in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay, and we have the moon that is now casting its light in an incorrect way, as well as showing perturbation. More people by the day are taking notice, but something is wrong. Is your pastor in your church telling you that we are entering the end days? Perturbation by Merriam-Webster, the definition. A disturbance in motion, course, arrangement, or state of equilibrium especially. A disturbance of the regular and usually elliptical course of motion of a celestial body that is produced by some force additional to that which causes its regular motion. Something's pulling on the moon. Now, what do you got going on here? This is the picture that was sent in. And again, I've seen this for myself, so I know this is real. So what I am going to do here, I'm pretty good spatially. So being a trim carpenter, I can see things pretty well and I can conceptualize. So what I did is I just tried to match the spots you can see here. So more or less you see that. Now, this is the elliptic plane. Let me go into showing you something else here. Basically, it's like a record. Imagine having a P in the center of an LP record, putting out some other Ps at various different areas right along on the lines where, the needle would run. And imagine those going in a circle. Now, they're all on a plate. So this is called an elliptic plane. You don't have our planets going up and down like this, and then some going like this. They all pretty much run along the circular aspect of a plate. It's the same thing with our moon. It does the same thing. It runs along the elliptic. So I drew the Earth here, drew the sun here, I drew Mars just to show it. And then we got our little moon right here, and our moon goes back and forth, round and around the Earth on the elliptic. Now, that will indicate that when you have the sun hitting at certain angles, you're going to see the light on certain angles. Now, obviously, the scale's a little bit tight here, Earth to the sun and all that. That's why the shadows would be extreme in this model. But this model can explain that kind of thing. It cannot explain this, because this is what's going on. We're seeing this. The light source that would be hitting a moon here on this elliptic plane would show the sun down here. There's absolutely no way that works. And he's seeing that. And he can't figure it out. And a lot of people can't figure it out. People are doing a lot of hemming and hawing. So I took this picture last March. Now, this was a moon phase chart from the 17th of March. I don't think this is showing up on the screen properly, but there is a tiny little outline around the 17th here. You can see the crescent moon. It's got a very tiny little thread along the edge, just a tiny little bit of light hitting on the edge. And you can see down here, there's quite a bit. And not only is there quite a bit, but you can see how these are, again, up and down lines. They're straight up and down, just with a basically different aspect to the curve of the sphere. This is completely askew. It's heading down. The light's coming from way below. Doesn't make any sense. Now, I sent this off to a friend, and then I was talking about it later with my cousin. And my friend was raised on a farm, and he made the comment when I sent this. I go, what is with this picture? Because this is what I sent him. I was heading to the gym, and it's due west. This picture, this was taken due west. And this was in March. And so where the sun is actually coming from, not only is it crooked, it's coming from the north. That's impossible on the northern hemisphere. It's not possible. So I'm looking at this going, what? So I take the picture, I send it off to him, and I go, Matt, can you make sense of what I'm actually seeing here? And his response was, that's not only messed up, he goes, the moon's off by 3 days. And so he told me that. I went and worked out, got home, pulled up the moon phase chart for myself, which is right here. And I saw exactly what he was talking about. Since it was the 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, this is actually, I would say, pretty close to what you're seeing right here. So it was off by 3 days in March. By May, it was off by 5 days. So it got quite a bit worse before it corrected. I do think this is really interesting that this is March of last year, and you just saw what it was doing now. I mean, it's completely in the opposite direction. Again, if you attend a church, does your pastor or your priest not know we are entering the last days? If not, why not? Doesn't Yahweh commune with him? If not, why not? Why is your pastor not being told this? Why is God not telling him to tell his parishioners? Question: what symbols surround you in the church you may attend? And why does it often require a catechism, a quote-unquote manual, to learn to properly read the manual of Yahweh, the Bible? Can't you just pray for discernment directly? Do you do this on a daily basis? Or do you let your pastor or priest do that for you once a week where he mostly pulls from the gospel? All right. Okay, we're going to go on to a particular church and its symbols, and we're going to hit on some more predictive programming again. Now, this is where I started off going in one direction. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, the whole video reinvented itself. Dated open September 29th, 1990. Now, I always look at things from a number standpoint and look to see if there's embedded numbers, because this group is all about it. September 2, 9, I thought, is that possible? That's a 9 plus 2. So we know what that would be. So that's a bit of a stretch that this could be numerology for that number as well, but let's look a bit further. Always look to symbols. Now, this is a Catholic church. So as you can see, what's written down here, this is not Mary. This is Diana and child. The crown tells a lot too. The number of stars above her head. This is Assyrian. I'm not going to go too much into that, but what I'm going to show you here on the side is you see this chalice. You can see it right there. It's in tile. Now we're getting a little bit closer. Now this is what's on the side of it. Now it's interesting. I mean, you can tell that it's not perfect because it's tile work. It's a little bit jagged. Now this is a little bit more refined. It's the same symbol though. And again, it's surrounded by stars. All of these things mean something. In fact, I can actually tell you this is more than likely in the United States. This is probably the Vatican. And I can tell you just because of what I'm seeing on this. So as I've told you before, the numbers 9 and 11 have heavy satanic occult significance. So what do we have here? What exactly is the intent being conveyed by this design? Boom, boom. Okay. You can see it's the same thing. So we've got this, we've got this. We've got this interesting thing going on here. Now, there is something really, oh my gosh, I didn't even see this till now. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm getting rusty. Okay, boom, 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 and then cut it off right there, cut it off right there. Okay, that's one more. I did see this, the Roman numerals. What do you see? Okay, I can't believe I missed that. We've got a 1. We've got an X, we've got an X, we've got a 1. Okay, 1X, X1. Mirrored, that's high occult, but what do we have here? We have a 9 and we have 11. This is 9 and 11. So, date open, I don't know. That's to be determined, I guess. So again, with the opening date, a definitive maybe, maybe not. So let's go take a closer look at this church and what goes on within it, and the symbols and iconography incorporated into its design. Like the Episcopal Church of St. John the Divine in New York City, the Freemasons seem quite proud of this one as well. Washington National Cathedral. This is also an Episcopal church. It's the Freemasons talking about them laying a proper Masonic form cornerstone. They're all proud of themselves here. Okay, I pulled this up. This is where things went into a completely different direction than I thought this video was going to go. I looked up this. It says President George Washington commissioned Major Pierre L'Enfant to create a grand cathedral. There is meaning in everything. So when I saw this, and I knew I was already heading down a particular path because of what I saw a little bit later in the article I pulled up, I knew what I was looking at here. Okay, the Masonic career of Major Pierre Charles L'Enfant, Scottish Rite. Now, I've already covered that the Scottish, it's the tribe of Dan. They're excluded from the 144,000 of Yeshua's kings in the Bible because this tribe fell away in the worst way possible, and you can see why they fell away. This is it. So, we've got them talking about him again, this Mr. L'Enfant. First thing, let's check out what the meaning of his last name is. Okay, l'enfant, the child. Okay, just something else I pulled up just to make the point. Okay, the definition in Collins Dictionary, enfant. Okay, in this way, it's an altar boy. In this way, down here, we can see. I'm going to have to avoid using some words. I'm going to just show the screen, and you're going to understand in a while. I'm not going to use words that are going to activate algorithms because this stuff is going to get a little bit, you know. Anyway, we got the degree structure here, 33 degrees of the Scottish Rite. Okay. Number 33, secret societies, UFOs, death, destruction. What's with the number 33? To occultists and secret societies like Freemasons, 33 is held in. Okay, so let's go inside and see what's occurred within this church designed by a man named L'Enfant. Okay, cathedral.org. Masons recognized. March 23, 2016. At the beginning of October, Cathedral Masons, and here's 3 people that have received the American Institute of Architects Northern Virginia Craftsman Award for recognition of an individual or organization that has exhibited superior work in the building trades. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. This is where I had to go into a completely different direction. What I just saw in what I showed you, I'm going to get back to. But I saw something that made me realize I had to go to this guy. I covered him in another video. This is one of the most wicked people I've ever laid my eyes on. I want you to just closely look. He's got a lot of stuff going on his arms and on his chest. So remember my intro video into the series where I showed you the subtle yet visible Freemason tattoo of Marilyn Manson. This guy. Okay. This is what I talk about in bedding. So we've got it turned on its side, and you can see what we got going on right here. Now, just to make clear, back, forth, you can see it. Okay, now you can see it again right there. This guy is so disturbed. He is also and he is telling you so with a specific tattoo. Okay, it's on his arm. This one right here. No reason. And he's telling you no reason. He just likes it. So what does he like? The FBI can tell you. FBI symbols. WikiLeaks. This visibly explosive FBI document reveals the secret symbols used to... Okay, here is what was in that data dump. This is all the way back from 2007. So you've got symbols that are used by these organizations to, again, this is about conveyance of symbols. This is getting past language. This is what this group is so good at. So you can see right here what we've got. We've got this associated with this symbol. You've got 2 concentric hearts. You've got this with AKA, and you can see what it says there. You know, just the fact that what they're doing here, they're trying to mock like a little child, you know, drawing right here. I mean, how sick these people are. But you've got this, you know, you can see what's written. So you got these all showing different things. They're conveyances of different aspects of what their desires are. So what do we got with this, guys? No reason, but he just happens to like, appears to be this. And since this is in such, it's not like this, it's like this. He looks like he likes this and this. So what is it he's really liking? This guy is liking that, and he's liking that. No reason, he just likes it. So again, there you go. You got connections. So we have this Freemason tattoo and this on this one tattoo on this one individual. You know where I'm going with this, right? Okay, let's go inside and see what's occurred within this church designed by a man named L'Enfant. Okay. Unclassified. Now, here we go. There's that symbol again. What do we got here? Okay. Let's see what this is on. What do we got going on? This is the stuff that is in front of everyone all day long, and they don't have a clue. These men are, this is what this group does. They get people that will engage in this kind of sick behavior because they use it as blackmail. Now these guys are bought. There's nothing they can do. If they ever turn and go astray, they're done for. More people are getting wise to this every day. Mom finds this on her children's toys. Okay, and you can read what this says. I'll just let you look for a second. She's found it right up there. And they've recalled the entire series. There it is. People are figuring this out. They're starting to understand there is this other language. Now let's go outside and check out more iconography and symbolism on this official national church. Now this is where I was going with this originally. I got diverted. Darth Vader grotesque. The Darth Vader grotesque is a limestone grotesque by J. Hall Carpenter. It is located at the Washington National Cathedral, Northwest Washington, D.C. You can see it right there. Okay. Doesn't this seem like a strange thing to put on a Christian church? Beyond the fact that it seems irrelevant on its face, what's its meaning? Everything has meaning. If you've watched my videos, you are beginning to understand this is the case. So what was this character known as? Star Wars, Darth Vader, Dark Lord. Okay, so now here's something people need to understand. We are only drawing inspiration from one of two sources. Our Father, Yahweh in heaven,